I made some changes, tore into it, fixed some issues, and hopefully this turns out to be pretty good. Alrighty. All right, so today we're going to go into the Neotech 372 clone that I built. It's been running kind of funky. Those of you that have seen it, anytime I would let off the trigger, it would kind of behave kind of weird and so forth. So I am tearing into it and making an adjustment at the exhaust port. Not really changing any timing numbers or nothing. All that's going to stay the same. Basically, I'm opening up the exhaust port at the muffler, like the side where the muffler bolts on. I'm making that area bigger. I'm going to give it a larger cone shape. I'm suspicious that I didn't open it up enough. In fact, I think I have it pretty much at factory amount or whatever. You know what I mean? So I think the exhaust gases, as they're coming through the exhaust port themselves or itself or whatever, that I think the gases are kind of getting bound up in there and making it behave weird. You know what I mean. I think you know what I mean there. So I'm going to tear into it real quick, open it up, and we'll see if it runs any better. So shouldn't be too long of a video for it, because that's pretty much what I'm going to do. Now the 372 that we just had the failure on, that's actually the one sitting in front of me. I have not tore it down yet. I've just been kind of busy. I'm actually working on my truck. If you look over here, that's the front dry shaft. Down here's the old one. There's one I just picked up and I kind of screwed up. You got to measure it. You got to measure the length of the dry shaft to make sure you get the right one. And I measured it and I ordered the right one for that measurement. What I didn't realize is because that dry shaft was bad, the joint, like this side here, this is like a bearing in here. I'll show you. It's like it's like a CV joint bearing kind of thing. But whenever I measured it, this thing was like that. And I got the wrong measurement. I didn't think to do that before I measured it. So of course the new dry shaft was too short. Yeah, gonna have to replace it. That's gonna be fun, having to do it twice. And I got a squeaky belt issue. I just replaced the belt tensioner on it, and it's definitely bad, but I still got a squeaky belt. So I'm gonna be diving into it some more, trying to figure out where my squeaky belt's coming from. Squeaky belts always seem to pop up in the wintertime, you know? It just kind of comes with that territory. They seem to squeal when it gets cold, is whenever they start to squeal, you know what I mean? But that's what I've been busy doing. I've just been working on the truck. And so I just haven't got this all tore down yet. Now, for those of you who think that because I sheared those bolts off the head, it's going to be a quick repair, I'll be surprised if it is. I mean, the question is, what caused those bolts to shear off? 3 out of 4 bolts sheared off. Did the bolts fail, or did something in the crankcase fail to push the cylinder off and break 3 of the bolts in the process? That's the question. I think something in the crankcase failed, to be honest, but I haven't tore it down to find out yet. Now, I was planning on tearing it down anyway to do some changes to the port work, so we're going to do all that at once. Now, I've already got the work to the Neotech done, just need to take it for a test run. So, what do you say? Let's go get her done. Let's go get some cuts into it. Alrighty? So, let's see. I put the muffler mod that came with the saw, I put that back on it. Got it shaped at the exhaust port to match what I did and all that stuff. So I did put that muffler back on it. That's his muffler. The one I was running the last couple of videos was my muffler. So we are going back to this. All right, so we're ready to make our cuts. Crossing, yeah, let's cross our fingers. And hopefully she goes, you know what I mean? We're gonna start out by doing a quick tune on the little log, and then we'll take her down to a bigger piece of wood. But I can already notice a difference in the way it runs. The question is whether or not it picks up more performance. And I can tell you, I've already leaned the high jet out a half a turn, and I think it's gonna need more. So when you're tuned really, really fat, how slow do you run compared to whenever you get her leaned out properly? That's kind of what we're looking at today. So when I tore her down, she was obviously tuned extremely rich. Everything was turning black. You could see blackness all the way down into the transfers. And I was doing that rich tune thinking that I was running the saw hot. And here, I think I just made a mistake in the port work. So yeah, made some changes. Let's see what happens. By the way, there is no compression release on this. In case you're wondering how much compression it has, that's the best I can tell you right now. I have not done a compression test. Yep, there she is. Now I'm happy with it. She won't sit here. Here, let's go over here. All right, there she is. Now I'm happy with it. That is what I would consider bumping up the compression but not getting extreme with it. And I think that's about the performance level we could expect by going that method. You know what I mean? She's about 12,000 even in the cut. We got the tack on it, but yeah, she's averaging right around 12 grand in the cut. Compression, I don't think we hit 200. I don't know. We'll do a compression test. Yeah, actually, just let me go into the building and finish this video in the building. We'll just go ahead and do a compression test. It'll be a warm compression test. It'll actually be done properly. So what do you say? Let's do it. There's our compression test. I'm going to say, what, 178 pound? So yeah, I was thinking 200. It's not even there yet. Or it's not even 200. So I don't think Joey will have too many issues with this. All right, so that definitely made a difference, didn't it? It runs a lot better now. A lot better. It cleaned up a lot of my issues. So it was definitely an issue where I just had things choked down at the exhaust port. And whenever I tore it down, I could tell. So whenever it was kind of behaving kind of like that before, I was richening the tune-up, thinking that it was trying to run hot. And here it was because of the way, you know, she was, the way the exhaust port was. And what happened is I ended up having to solve running fat in the tune. So now that I made these changes, I'm actually able to get a proper tune out of it. A lot of the misbehaving has all cleaned up. So I think now we're going to go into it again. But I want to tear this other one down first and see what's wrong with it. But we're going to go into that Neotech one more time, I think. I want to turn it up. I think I want to make it a little bit hotter than that. So she's cutting at about 12,000 RPM in the wood right now. 12.1. So yeah, I think I want to try to get a little bit more. And she's doing it at 178 pounds of compression. And that was a warm compression test. So that should be pretty accurate. So there you go. 178 pounds of compression gave us 12,000 RPM in the cut, but I think I want to go a little bit hotter. Yeah, I do. But anyway, probably not much of a video for you today. Just a little bit on that Neotech, really. Definitely had an issue there. So whenever you port the exhaust and you raise the roof, you got to make sure that you don't have your exhaust funneled down. And basically, I didn't have it funneled down. I had it kind of even the whole path, like it was a straight pipe. And I needed to open it up a little so that as the gases were coming out and expanding, it had a place to go. And what was happening is it was getting bottled up in there, causing the saw to run kind of funky. And I just had to make that quick change. It wasn't much at all. It took longer to tear it apart and put it back together. You know what I mean? So we're going to do one more, I think, adjustment to that saw and see if we can turn it up just a little bit more. Let's see if we can start tickling closer to 13,000 in the wood. That's our goal. I said about a while ago when I start building saws to run closer to 13,000 in the cut, and we'll see how close we can get with this one. I have a feeling we're probably going to settle out at about 12.5 to 12.8, but hey, if we can hit 13, we can hit 13, right? And I expect it to do that with a 20-inch bar, and I'm going to hope to do it with enough torque that I'm doing it with an 8-pin. If you guys haven't noticed that I'm starting to run 8-pins a lot more now, that's because I want to achieve my power on 8-pins now. I don't want to, I don't know, it forces you to kind of find more torque in your builds, not just the RPM. It kind of forces you to focus a lot more on torque too, to pull it off with 8-pins. So I've been doing that a lot more. So yeah, but anyway, that's where we are. Enough jabbering, and we'll catch you in the next one. Later.